Hi, I'm that James guy, and right now I'm going to see if I can get to the bottom of this check engine light on Wilma. P1604. It's called PCM internal RAM integrity error. Sounds ominous. I've cleared it. It keeps kind of coming back active. The light's still on. Most of what I'm reading on the internet says that it needs a new PCM, which isn't good when I thought I was, done fixing her. But, so the PCM is right here on this, on Wilma. You can see there. Yeah, that's the PCM. There's an issue perhaps inside of it. But what I'm going to do is check the power and the ground. Make sure it's got good, strong power and ground. Getting to it. And if it is, I may have to order a used one or find it. I've seen a few on eBay for not much money, but it's still one of these annoying things that I'm going to have to deal with. Wilma's battery has been pretty weak this whole time. I haven't really been charging it. Kind of let it run down. That could be the issue. I'm hoping that maybe that's the issue. I also found that the battery cable, it's not exactly the most tight. So it's not like it's falling off or anything, but I'm going to tighten that up. I think I'm going to cycle power to the PCM as part of this. I'm going to check power and ground here in a second, and we'll do that right now. But maybe by cycling power, clearing the codes again, I'll drive it around maybe for the next couple days, and maybe then it'll be fine. So connector number 1, which is on the left side there, I'm gonna pull that off. It's the black connector inside. There's like a black, orange, green, and white, I think. Okay, here we go. I think it's the one on the left here. Just gonna unlock it. Now this is where the power and ground are coming into this thing, so we'll check it for cleanliness, corrosion, all that kind of stuff. This is the black one. Actually, let's pull them all out. Check for corrosion on all of them. Right here, this is the PCI. Orange one. I believe they are keyed. It's not like you can put them in the wrong spot. They just kind of... Hey, there's a white one, and I'm expecting a green one. Hey, the internet was right. Thing looks nice and clean. I don't see any issues as far as corrosion goes. Pull it back in. The black one is the one I'm most concerned about. Power and ground. Lock, lock, lock. Okay. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to check ground. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the end of my test light on the positive cable, and it's pin 18, which is right here. Hey, look at that. Stress the harness a little while I'm doing that. I'm not really, you never want to poke too hard in a terminal like this. You just kind of go on the edge. Do a little yank. That's me just not hitting the terminal very well. So we've got good ground. I'm going to test the positive by putting the end of my test light on the negative side of the battery, and it's this one over here, pin 29, and I seem to have a really good ground. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, now that I've cycled power to this thing, we're going to cross our fingers, hope for the best. I'm going to tighten that lead on the positive that was loose on the positive side of the battery, and let's hope for the best. As you can see here, this positive cable is absolutely mangled. There is nothing really left of it. The whole bottom piece is missing, so I couldn't even tighten it up. Gonna have to go get a new one of those. So I've purchased this. This is just a generic battery terminal, local parts store. I think this should work. So this one, how it normally works is you would peel some of the insulation off the positive cable and clamp it here. I think I'll be able to make this work without doing that. I think I'll be able to just use these two bolts. This just seems like a really good idea. I guess we'll find out the hard way, won't we? This seems to have worked. Remember, these are lead. These are made of lead. They're not very strong, so when you go to torque them down, you don't want to go very tight because they cannot handle much. Like, just kind of barely snug is good enough, or else it'll just snap. See here? Cable's back up. There, we are good to go as far as battery cable goes. Here's the old one. You can see here, that's all that was left for positive. Yeah, that ain't good. Okay, so I took it for a road test around the block a few times. Check engine light stayed out, and then as I feared, I cycled the key, started it back up again, and the check engine light was back on with the P1604 code, so nothing has changed. So, if you look a little closer here, I have removed the PCM. I wandered around the junkyard today trying to find one, and they didn't have any. Apparently this is very specific to a 2006. It was just a few bolts holding it in, a few harnesses. Here we are, and I'm not sure. Maybe I should. I pulled it out so I can get the numbers off of it. eBay has a bunch of them, around $150, $200. But I think maybe I should just take this apart and see if there's anything obvious inside. Maybe I can fix. This is the inside of a PCM. Really not much to see. I don't see any like obvious corrosion or anything like that. So yeah, I tried to dig it out of the goo that's in there, the gel, and just was not happening. So the PCM is here. I ordered this on the 16th of March and it's supposed to arrive on April 20th. It is not April 20th. So this is going to be highly reviewed, even though it was USPS's fault that it got here so fast. Let's see what we got here. Chrysler, part number blah bitty blah. Okay, now we need to compare notes. Original sticker, same part number, and I think the software update part numbers are the same as well. That's all I did is I looked at this on the eBay ad just to make sure everything all added up, and it looks like we're good to go. So let's get this thing back together. This bracket has to go on. We'll get this installed and we'll see what happens. So the PCM is in and all hooked up as you saw. Hopefully this isn't bad. Incorrect immobilizer key. It's kind of the only thing we have going on here. Well, I guess let's just see if she starts. She kind of started. Cycle the key. Reading codes again. Incorrect immobilizer key. Oh no. How do I fix that? This isn't good. This is bad. So P0513. I've scoured the internet trying to figure out what that is, and it doesn't take you long before you realize that it is a SCIM module VIN mismatch. So SCIM, security key, immobilizer module. Chrysler has them. They sit underneath the key and they make sure that the programmed little chip in the key is matching your PCM. Obviously my PCM's new. not matching anymore. So we need to try and figure that out. One suggestion, and I don't think this will work for when your skim module's failing, causing this issue, was to disconnect the batteries for a while. So I've done that. You can see here, I've disconnected the negative cable, and I've actually shorted the positive and the negative cable together, just with them disconnected. Just I'm gonna leave it for a few minutes. Okay, I've hooked the batteries back up. They've been disconnected and positive and negative shorted together for about half an hour. So we'll know right away when we turn this on. The red light, will it be on, will it be off? And that red light. Yeah, not gonna start, or it'll start and it'll die pretty quick. That's not even gonna start now. It's like I've done it enough times. It's toast. So it's that little red light at the bottom there. Tells you there's still a VIN mismatch. So this was a partial win, partial failure. My P1604 is gone. The P0700 is gone. But now I have a new code, perhaps. I should have done my research, but that's okay. Two options to fix this. We can either send this PCM out to a company down in the States. There's a few companies that will do a skim delete, and then you pull the skim module right out of the car, and it'll just start no matter what the key's doing, whether it's programmed or not. The other option is to try and program the PCM. My buddy's going to come over next week, and we're going to go ahead and give that a try before I send the module down. If you found this useful, or at least mildly entertaining, please like the video, hit the subscribe button. I will link to the playlist here at the end so that you can see everything I've done to Wilma so far, and I hope to be done this soon, but I will see you next time.